What's up, everybody? It's the Bipolar Prophet, and welcome back to Old Ridge Farm in Farming Simulator 15. If you remember from the last episode, we were sort of finishing up the very last of the late winter, early spring preparation stuff. All the plowing's been done, all the harrowing's been done. I planted the grass over on to split field 11 into two parts that I wanted to do. I went back and I sort of straightened it up a little bit as best I could. That's not really my strong point, doing stuff like that, but it looks okay. And I think it's going to work out really good. So in this episode, we're going to do a couple of things. First of all, we're going to wash off our tractors because they're filthy. I got to get the muck and the mud and everything off of them. I need to go up to the shop and pick up a new seeder because I want to plant sugar beets, and I require a specific seeder for that, obviously. So we're going to go pick that up, and I think we're going to go up to the sheep area, and we're going to get all the wool pallets that have been collecting up there for a while and get those sold off too. So we might as well go ahead and start with the pressure washing. These tractors have been working very hard, as you can imagine. Is that loud? That seems a little loud. I'm going to turn that down a little bit. These tractors have been working really, really hard. So, it's only fair, I think, to wash them off. So they can just go get filthy again, in the fields. But well, actually, just the big case will be in the fields. I'll use the 160 here for the to haul the wool pallets with, I guess. So, all right, very good, very good. Now, this big girl here, she is just filthy, obviously, I want to keep my tractors, in reasonable condition. I like a dirty tractor, you guys know that, but, these tractors, especially this one's so expensive. It's silly not to clean it. Plus, you got to wash all that muck off anyway, because you don't want to be dragging any kind of contaminants around into the field, so. I seem to have lost the weight for this tractor. I'm not sure where it is. Go figure, right? Oh. All right, now that's done. Now, I think the first thing we'll do is we'll run up to the shop, and we'll pick up our new seeder. So, whoops, if we stay in the... Turn that on. Now we can turn that back up a little bit. Now it's too quiet. Jeez, can't win here today. Okay. Forward. Forward would be good. Yeah, we'll run up to the shop. We'll pick up the new seeder, and then we'll get them started. I gotta decide where I'm putting sugar beets. I sort of had a plan in my head about what I was going to plant and where. But then I got thinking about it, and after having some talks with some guys in the area and with my seed rep, with the drought being the way it is, it seems to make more sense if I plant, some drought-resistant crops. Now, sugar beets are not technically drought-resistant, as you guys are probably aware. I'm not quite close enough to that yet. Come on, open. There we go. And I got to back up quick before it catches the tractor. Sugar beets are not particularly drought resistant, but because I have a contract with British Sugar, I kind of have to get them in the ground. So I think we're going to put sugar beets on field 11 and maybe the home field, I think. And then we're going to do some drought resistant crops like soybeans and wheat on the other fields. I need to get some barley in somewhere. I kind of need to take a look. Me and the seed rep are kind of walking around and taking a look at the fields and everything, and trying to discover where maybe the best place, the parts of the field that have the best moisture content in them at the moment. To figure out where we're going to plant barley, because barley requires quite a bit of moisture. So I left the Unimog up here. I have to come back and get that. So there's our new sugar beet seeder. It's a pretty big piece, but it kind of needs to be a big piece, because I got a couple of big fields that I need to pick up. Oh, it's doing the wiggle. It's doing the wiggle. Obviously, when they had loaded it off the truck, they didn't brace it up right, so hopefully I can just pick it up and go and not have to worry about it too much. Seems like all I've been doing lately is buying equipment. I mean, that's part of the deal, I guess, so come on. Why can't I get a connection here? Why can't I get a connection? There we go. What's it going to do? Is it going to freak out? No, it's not going to freak out. This is the Kneveland Mini Air Nova, as you guys may recognize. If you hit X, I believe the whole thing unfolds. Yep. Lots of animations, a really good texture on it. It's a little frame rate hit because it's so textured, but it's not awful. I certainly like it, and it'll do good to plant sugar beets for us. So. All right, now, just have to go fill it up, and we'll get it started. Where do I want to start it? Well, I guess we might as well start it on either the home fields or field 11. Probably the home fields, get those planted first. I was talking to Mike the other day, and he was telling me that he's going to plant, he's going to put a layer of muck down on his fields after he plants them. And you know what? That's a pretty good idea. It's not something that's traditionally done. You know, usually muck is worked. Oops. I got to remember this thing's kind of tall. I'm going to catch it on the trees. Muck is, you know, traditionally plowed into the ground, as I did this year, you know. But it's a good idea for the fact that it will hold in some soil moisture, you know. You know, the fields at the moment are not awful, but they're going to get worse. And with us not being able to irrigate, you know, any soil moisture we can keep in the fields is going to be a good thing. So I think I need a new battery in my remote. Now, did that close behind me? Yes, it did. Okay. Because, again, it makes no sense to have gates if you're not going to close them. So, yeah, so I think I'm going to do the same thing. Hopefully I have enough muck. You know, Mike has a massive amount of muck. But he's got a big dairy, too, and a lot of animals. So hopefully I'll have enough to at least get down on maybe the more, you know, drought-susceptible crops like the sugar beets and perhaps the barley. So I'm not so much worried about the wheat, and the soybeans are very drought-resistant. Soybeans have been, you know, genetically modified over the, you know, many, many generations to be able to take a drought. So, okay, now, because soybeans are a specific seed, I can't use my seed master, so I have to go in here and fill them up, and hopefully I can fill them up. This thing's a little bit of a pain in the ass to fill up where these seeds are, but sometimes I can kind of cheat it a little bit, and if I get close enough to it this way, I can fill it up. Oh, not this time, though. Come on. There we go. As soon as I can see what I'm doing. Let's see. Corn, no. Sugar beets, yes. This should cost a little bit of money. I'm not really sure how much this holds. I'm sure it holds quite a bit. 1,000 maybe? Is it 1,000? Yep, 1,000. Okay, that's fine. That's probably enough to do the home fields. I guess we'll get them started on the home fields, and then I will once I get the course set up and everything over here, and once I stop smashing in everything, I will get the 160, and we'll go up to the dairy farm, grab the Flegel trailer, and head up to the sheep and pick up all the wool pallets. So, not sure how many I have up there. I know there's quite a few, though. Time to pick them up, get them sold, and start making some money off the sheep. It's good to be planting finally. You know, it's like I said, you know, it's been a fairly long winter, and you know, in a pretty hectic early spring here. So, it's still kind of cold out, but it's not so bad that I'm worried about planting. So, all right, now, let's see. We are. I can never remember what I call this course. What I call this field. I know it's either 30 or 50. I think 50 might be the newest one. Let's try that. I don't have any idea what the working width of this thing is. Let's get it unfolded and find out. Wow, 8.2 meters, huh? Okay, well, you're going to go down to 8 meters then. We want to start maybe north east, perhaps, headed south. We'll put in, we don't really need a lot of headlands on this because of the way that the field has been cut, but after, probably. Let's take a look at that, see what that looks like. Make sure we turn these on and this on. Okay, as long as it goes across the whole field, I'm happy. Not sure where the starting point is, as I never am. Oh, the starting point is over there. Okay, very good. It looks like it's going to miss some down the middle, but maybe not. You know, it's just, again, it's the shape of the field. So, you know, I tried to make it as square as possible, but it's not always easy. I believe this wants to go this way, perhaps. I guess we'll find out in a minute here. Speed, 5 miles an hour. 5 miles an hour should be good. First waypoint, and actually, let's save this course. Let's call this Home F8M. There we go. Just so I have it, in case I need to stop for any reason. And we'll drive the course. Wrong tool for this mode. Oh, yes, of course. Sorry. Sorry. Needs to be on fertilize and seeding there, BP. There we go. And of course he's going to fold up. And then move off to the first course. I just want to watch it for a minute, make sure it's going to do what it's supposed to do. Ridge markers. Manual, because I don't think this thing has ridge markers to begin with, and that will definitely crash the game and courseplay, so... Because courseplay will look for the ridge markers and it won't have any, and then the game will just be like, okay, well, crash. Alright, very good. Just caught that in time. I always tend to forget that. Okay, and sugar beets are going in the ground. Very good. You can see the soil moisture is already low. I'm going to get a little bit of a moisture hit from spraying some, probably some PK on these fields. It's still the same day, so that's why you're seeing the N levels be low, even though we did plow in the alfalfa, we did spread muck, we did plow that all in, you know. So tomorrow in the game, when the when soil mod, you know, does its calculations, it will take that into account. So. Because of the headlands and it doesn't have to turn around, it has enough room to make the turn. It's going to do some kind of a weird row, but that's okay. I'm not so worried about that. You know, that'll all get sort of cleaned up in the headlands. So, are you really going to leave that much space between the rows, though? That's interesting. Although, to be honest, it's not awful. It's kind of neat. It's kind of almost a tram line. It's not so bad. You kind of see that in sugar beet fields. So maybe if it does that, you know, along the whole length of the field, I maybe won't hate that so much. Yeah, this thing is a little laggy, but I knew that going in. I knew, you know, because of the level of detail and because of the texture quality and everything, I knew it was, you know, there was a good chance it might be a little laggy, but that's okay. It's not so bad that it's locking the game up completely, so I'm not hating it. Yeah, you know what? I think I will leave those little bit of lines. I mean, they're not going to line up to anything, to a spray or anything, but I think they're kind of neat. So and they'll look good as the crop grows up, you know, because that's all it's really about is looking good. You know, it's not about yield or anything. So I think I'll just leave those. Okay, you seem to be handling your business, so I will let you go and do your thing. I don't need you. Thank you very much. It's funny it brought the pallet over here. That pallet's like a dog. It follows the main part around wherever you are. So, okay, you can have a seat. I need you. Need to turn that on. We'll go up and grab the glab. What? We'll go up and grab the Fleagle and go get the wool pallets. And I got to remember where they get sold. I'm pretty sure they get sold down here in this whole sort of DeKalb complex. But since I've never actually sold a wool pallet on this map, I'm hoping that's correct. I seem to remember that being the place where they go. So again, you know, all the talk is about the drought. You know, most of the guys who have, you know, I got an early start, maybe a little too early of a start this year, but most of the guys who are just getting started now with their field work have decided that they're not going to plow, or they're only going to plow selected fields. You know, I'd already sort of committed to plowing everything this year, you know, which may turn out to be a bad idea, but I know Mike is only going to plow a few fields, you know. He's going to do his sort of slurry muck layer on top of things, you know, which is a great idea, and I'm going to absolutely do that too. You know, try to keep some soil moisture in the soil for as long as we can. So, you know, and obviously all we're doing is watching the, you know, watching the weather and watching the you know, the long-term forecast to see, you know, is it going to rain? Is it going to rain anytime soon? You know, and unfortunately the news is just not very encouraging. So. All right, get hooked up to that and get down to the sheep. Quickest way to the sheep, well, would be this way. You know, it's funny. In the real world, here in New England, where I live, in real life, it has been raining for about 3 days, and not just regular rain, but like, you know, monsoon rain. There's a couple of weather systems that are sort of stalled out, you know, north and south of us. That's causing some rain. There's a hurricane coming up the coast, you know, that's going to pretty much slam dead into like, you know, the mid-Atlantic area, apparently, from the track that they're showing now on the Weather Channel. So, you know, and we're looking at maybe getting another foot or so of rain. I wish I could transfer some of that rain that I'm getting here in the real world to Old Ridge, because we could definitely use it. I'm really afraid that this rain is going to put a lot of people out of business. You know, this will be the first, because up until, you know, this year we could irrigate. You know, I'm sure the council wasn't thrilled about it, but they would allow us to do it. This year there's none of that. You know, we are obviously allowed to spray herbicides and fertilizers and stuff, and those have to be mixed with water. But we're not allowed to just use straight water as an irrigation method anymore until, you know, further notice, whenever that may be. But so, you know, this year's yield will really be the sort of, I don't know, the deciding point, I think, for a lot of guys. You know, as you guys probably know, farming is very expensive. Equipment is incredibly expensive to buy, you know, or to lease, or to rent, or to, you know, make payments on. You know, we're constantly chasing the banks. We're constantly, you know, looking at the books going, oh, I made, you know, $8,000 this month and I owe 16, you know. That's farming, you know. It's not particularly glamorous. It's not, you're not going to be a millionaire off of farming unless you've been in it for, you know, multiple generations and you're stable and set. And, you know, your equipment is mostly paid for and you can afford to outlay a bunch of money for new equipment when you need to and stuff. You know, most farmers are very, you know, hand to mouth. I know I am. You know, I am always into the bank for multiple tens of thousands of dollars, if not more. You know, and just trying to get to the point where we can, you know, make enough money to survive is a struggle. You know, with the milk prices and everything else. It's a little bit of, you know, it's a lot of work. So I don't have quite as many of these as I thought. I only have 2, really? I thought I would have had more of these. Well, we came up here. We're taking 2 of them. Now, I have no idea. B&M Grass RB. Oh, yeah, that's right. These are the new ones. These are the updated ones that pick up the grass bales from the new baler. So that's kind of cool. Toggle next product type. Oh, yeah, all the different size balers. Standard silage, B&M silage, standard RB mixed, B&M RB mixed. Wow, there's so much. Wood pallets. Oh, it puts the sides on now. That's cool. Wool pallets. Well, that's what I want. I wanted to pick up wool pallets. And there we go. And it will take the half-filled one, but that's fine. I don't have an issue with that. I like the fact that it puts the sides up. That's really neat. Yeah, that's cool. It'd be nice if that wheel was on the ground, but that's just a terrain thing. So, okay, very neat. Very, very neat. All right, let's take these down and get these sold off. Now, I doubt very much I'm going to try to get this down on that little series of humpback bridges. So, this thing's kind of long. So, hopefully I might be able to go down this way, maybe. Oh, no, we'll just turn around. We got it. We got it. Very good. Thinking about picking up some lambs, just because, you know, that'll kind of round out our animal production. So, still want to increase the dairy herd, you know, but money kind of tight right now. Probably won't do anything major, you know, for the rest of this season now, until we get to after harvest and we sell everything. So, or that's the goal anyway, unless something breaks or, you know, I absolutely have to have something. If I was smart, and you all know I'm not, I would buy more chickens, because chickens are money. I mean, those chickens are like little $500 bills floating around. You know what I mean? They really, really are. Kind of want to get a cut on these meadows too, just to get one in and then get them slurried, so that I can, you know, keep on top of them this time and not get them to the point where they were last year, where they were in such bad shape. We're not going to be able to water them, you know what I mean? But I am going to slurry the hell out of them, that's for sure. You know, I will do whatever it takes to keep the grass, you know, in a condition that I can, you know, feed my animals with. Boy, I'm going the roundabout way to get to this place, huh? Okay, well, that's fine. So, you know, while we're going by, we'll take a look at the case and see how Perry's doing over there on the fields. Yep, leaving those nice lines in the field. It's going to be kind of neat, actually. It's going to look like a, I don't know, it's going to look more like a vegetable patch than maybe a sugar beet field, but I think it'll be cool. You know, probably lose a little bit of yield, sure, but, you know, whatever. It's fine. I feel like we've had these sheep for quite a while now. I feel like I should have had more wool pallets in this, but okay. You know, this is how many we've got. This is how many we've got. So, might as well make them start making us some money. So, I believe that wool pallet collector, if I'm correct, will hold 9 of these. I think. I don't know. I'm not really the expert on that, on the whole, you know, sheep and wool and all that sort of thing, but. Just driving around like diesel is free, huh? Going all the way back around instead of, you know, going across the way I should have went. Oh, well, that's okay. So, yeah, so we'll put sugar beets. You know what? I'm going to have to revise this. I'm going to need a good soybean crop. And I don't know if I want to put... I think putting soybeans on maybe that on field 1 over there would make the most sense. And then maybe putting wheat on... Oh, I need to come up with a plan here. I mean, obviously, you know, I pay the seed rep a fair amount of money to come out and, you know, and walk the fields with me and look at stuff and say, well, you know, this would be a good place for this and this would be a good place for that. But it would be helpful if I took his recommendations. I never remember how to get in this place. Is it over here? No, that's the housing estate. I don't want to go that way. I don't come down here very much, so... Although we will be selling soybeans here and at the train depot. So that's going to be a big plus. That's going to be nice. You know, the export, soybean export is a big deal. You know, Mike's kind of got the sort of local soybean. Now, where do these go? These go over here. Yeah, Mike in the major, I've sort of got the local soybean crop kind of sewn up, you know, but I did manage to get in on an export contract, so I'm pretty happy about that. But I got to make sure I get them in the ground at the right time so that they come up when the contract is due and not early, because if they have to take them and they sit there for any length of time, is it O? Oh, very good. $4,840. Ah, you know what? Oh, no, hold on. 6,000, 4,000. Oh, not bad. So what was that? $10,000 altogether? I will take that all day. All day I'll take that. Now, how do I get out of here again? This way. I like this trailer. You know what? I liked it before. I like it even better now. I mean, this thing just holds everything. It's amazing the amount of fruit types and fill types that this thing will hold. Oh, very, very cool. All right, well, might as well bring this back to the dairy farm. Uh-oh. And park it up. Go this way. Why not? I wonder if I shouldn't try to get a cut. Oh, it's early. It's early. It's still kind of chilly. I don't know if I dare try to get a cut on maybe, at the very least, this dairy meadow right now. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I know at some point today I need to sit down and finalize my plan on what's going where. Probably what I should be doing is I should be planting. You know, I shouldn't be worrying about cutting grass just yet. Because A, it's too early. B, you know, I've got other things that need to be done first. Spin around, spin around. Don't smash into my tractor. There you go. Apparently, the guy who wanted to buy this Ford is sort of dried up on me. He hasn't called me in about a week. You know, normally he'll, you know, I'll talk to these guys, you know, a couple of times a week or whatever, and see if they, you know, gauge their interest or whatever. But he hasn't really got back to me. He might have found another one, you know, maybe one in a little better shape. This one is pretty old, pretty worn out, unfortunately. But okay, so let's go ahead and tab to the case and see how he's doing. Oh yeah, doing very well. I just hooked my arm on my headset cable. Very nice, very nice. I'm gonna say I'm not hating the lines in the field. You know, I'm hating the fact that he feels the need. He needs his lights on though. Courseplay. I swear, Courseplay. It's a little dark out. I gotta turn my lights on. Courseplay is afraid of the dark, apparently. Perry, are you afraid of the dark? His twin brother Phil should be along anytime now. Phil's a little less punctual than Perry is. Phil is a sleeper, according to his brother, I guess. They live in the same house, you know, obviously. Neither one of them are married, you know. So I guess, you know, being bachelors, they pretty much live the bachelor lifestyle. I know they're down in the pub quite a bit, you know. But they're good workers. They show up, you know, mostly on time. They do what I ask them to do, and they do it very well. So I can't really complain too much about that. So I think, okay, you know what? Let's finalize a plan right this second. Let's be done with it. Let's grab a tractor here. Let's go back and grab our other seeder. And at the very least, we're going to put soybeans on field 1. So it's a good sized field, and it's in pretty decent condition. So we should be able to get away with putting soybeans on it. Now, there's another concern that I've had to give some thought to, and that's soil compaction. Because we're not going to be plowing anymore, because I cannot justify tearing up the ground, you know, and losing what little soil moisture we have. I'm going to go to a no-till system after this year, which means that whatever we plant, you know, when we harvest it, we're going to plant right on top of that again. And we're going to need to minimize soil compaction as much as possible. Obviously, there's going to be some soil compaction. There's going to be some fields that I'm going to have to plow. The sugar beet fields, I may have to plow because the Ropa that, as you know, me, Mike, the Major, and Cuthbert went in together to buy, it's a huge, heavy piece of equipment. Now, it does have some things built into it that will sort of alleviate a lot of soil compaction. You know, you can run it in offset steer mode so that the back wheels do not follow the same path as the cutter, which is very nice, you know. That really not eliminates, but alleviates a lot of soil compaction. So I'm going to cheat and leave these gates open for right now. Oh, no, I'm not. Close. But yeah, you know, but as far as the tractors and the carting tractors go, we're going to have to come up with some sort of strategy. I may end up having to keep I may have to get some kind of shuttle and keep the heavy tippers off the field as much as possible, you know. Maybe go to some sort of overloading system. I don't know. Because soil compaction is going to be a problem, obviously, if we're not going to plow, we're not going to be breaking it up. You know, we're going to be planting right on top of the stubble from the last crop. So, and you know, jeez, my mouse. The crops need to grow, obviously, so, and they need to be able to push through the soil. So, I want to keep it as uncompacted as I possibly can. That Seedmaster is very loud. I wonder if it needs some maintenance. Gonna have to get the, might have to get the guys down to take a look at that. Soybean. Yep, that's what I want. I don't think I have a soybean storage in my grain shed, which is not a real issue. I can always just put it. I can put it in the yard. It's just going to go straight to the train depot when it's harvested anyway. So that's not going to be a real issue. This particular soybean that I'm planting now is not going to be for the export anyway. I'm going to sneak in on a little bit of Mike's OEB business for this. So. Probably field 11 will get the soybean for the export, for our export contract. So, I still have my beacons on. No, I turned my beacons off. Why did I turn my beacons off? All right, and here we are at field 1, which should not be in terrible shape. No, you can see, I mean, you can see the soil moisture on this field is actually not awful. You know, so, geez, I wonder if I shouldn't plant something else here then. Because the soil moisture is not bad to start with. You know what? Let's do that. Change the plans again. I think I'm going to put barley on this field. That's what I'm going to do. I'll put barley on this field because the field is not in bad shape. So, okay. Let's see. F1, 3 meters. That's the one I want. Fertilize and seeding. Any chance? I believe it starts on this side. I believe. Nope. Of course, it ends on this side. Talking about soil compaction, I got to drive all the way across the field to get to the start point. Get off the field. Get off the field. You know, talking about soil compaction and the game, where's the start point? Way down here. I had a thought about that. Now, you guys know I'm always coming up with ideas for mods, right? I'm great for coming up with ideas, but I'm not so good with execution. Well, I'm not good at all with execution. I don't know anything. You know, I'm not a modder. I don't, you know, I can fiddle around with a map, but I'm not, you know, to create something, not really my thing, as you guys know. But I had a thought about how maybe, let's see. What's the speed set out here? 5, that's fine. First waypoint, and drive the course. Very good, and we'll get some barley in the field that can support it. So why not? But yeah, I had a thought about soil compaction and about how maybe it actually could be implemented in the game. It would kind of be a random thing, but I was thinking that, you know, there's got to be a way. Obviously, the game knows to put down these tire tracks, right? You can see the tire tracks, you can see the dust and all that. I wonder if there's a way to script something that could read those tire tracks, where they put them down, and assign that part of the field a number. You know, from, I don't know, 0 to 10, say. 0 meaning least compacted, 10 meaning most compacted. And it could be a random number, obviously. It would probably have to be. Unless there was a way to, you know, for the script to take into account the mass of the tractor, you know, and all that. Maybe the width of the wheels and things like that. And it would be pretty complicated, I would imagine. But even if it was just a random number from 0 to 10, you know what I mean? That could then be, you know, implemented as a soil compaction variable, perhaps, you know what I mean? That say, okay, well, this part of the field is more compacted than that part of the field, and, you know, I think that would be neat. I don't know. You know, if any of you guys know modders or any of you guys are modders and you're like, hey, that sounds like an interesting challenge and I'd like to take that on, then by all means, you know. I'd love to see something like that. I think it would be really cool. This is the stuff I think about when I'm setting up for, you know, for recordings and stuff. I'm great with ideas, just no good with execution. I don't know how to script at all. Otherwise, I might give it a shot, but I don't know anything about that. So, okay, very good. So I think we're 33 minutes. We'll just go ahead and scroll around here, make sure the case is still doing a good job. Oh yeah, still doing fine. So he'll be working on the headlands pretty soon, actually. So very good, and that will be sugar beets in the home fields, and only used about half of it. Half of what was in the cedar, so that's good. You can see the cedar. I mean, it looks amazing. You know, it gets dirty right. It's so, the textures are so high detail. You know, high res, and that's really one reason why it's kind of laggy. You know, between the sun coming up fully now, it's starting to get cloudy. You know, the tractor has its lights on. This thing is massively detailed, but you know what? It's worth it. It's worth it to me because I really, really like it. So. He's going to miss a little bit. I'm going to have to go around and probably clean it up a little bit, but it shouldn't be too bad. You know, just for the convenience of letting Perry here handle this. So, and at least Phil showed up now, and Phil's working, putting some barley in the ground for me, and should be okay. Going to have to get some weed prevention down on these fields once I go back in and check to see what sugar beets like. I know barley likes BB just because I plant so much barley. I know that by heart. I don't know what sugar beets need because this will be my first year here on Old Ridge planting sugar beets. So let's see. Does this want to be? I think this wants to be the thumbnail, huh? It's kind of a nice picture. Why not? Let's see if I can get a little bit of the sun in the background. That looks very pretty. We'll take that picture. Very nice. And I will do my usual outro spiel here. I hope you guys enjoyed that. As always, let me know what you think, you know. If you guys ever come to the point where you say, okay, you know what? Enough Old Ridge. We've had enough. You know, do something else. By all means, you're welcome to leave that. You know, leave me those comments. Leave me that feedback. Whether I listen to you or not is a whole other story. I just love playing on this map. And as I said in the last episode, this map has taken on a life of its own. It's become a living, breathing, evolving thing, you know. I've been on it for so long, Mike and Sean, and getting the story, you know, going and getting it working and getting it involved and getting it all just, you know, just so it has a life of its own now. All of our farms have lives of their own, and I just think that's amazing, and it's awesome, and it's so much fun, you know. But yeah, so anyway, you know, anything you guys want to leave me, you know, comments or suggestions, you know, ideas, you know, real life stuff, anything like that, you guys know you're more than welcome to leave it. I love reading it. I love replying to it. If you haven't checked me out on any of the various social media, Bipolar Prophet Gaming on Facebook, at Bipolar Prophet on Twitter. If you follow me, I'll be glad to follow you back. And check me out on Steam if you want to add me on Steam. And if you message me on Steam and I don't reply, please don't take it personal. A lot of times I'm just very busy. A lot of times I'm not even on the computer. The computer will be running, it'll be doing something, Steam will be open, and I won't be physically at it. So please don't take it personal if I don't get back to you right away. And as always, guys, thanks so much for coming to the channel, for liking, for commenting, for subscribing, for being active members of our little community here. It means so much to me. You guys are all amazing, and thank you so much. And thank you for making me a part of your YouTube day. And this is the Bipolar Prophet saying, see you later.